Before we get on to the main parts of the meeting, most of you will know that, unfortunately, and with sadness, to advise you that our former colleague and friend Jack Coburn died over the weekend. Many of you will have known Jack as just a happy individual who just lit up your lives when you met him, and I counted him as a friend of mine as well. He was just an amazing chap. He's been extremely ill for some time, but I would like to have a minute's silence with your approval for Jack. He was just a super chap. Thank you, councillors. Much appreciated. Can I call on Councillor Parrott? I think you'd like to say something.
Thank you very much, Provost, for asking me to lead with these tributes to Jack. It doesn't seem like more than a few minutes since I was last talking with Jack at Perth Farmers Market, and I took it as a warning on the last occasion when I saw him. When asked how he was, he said, "Well, I'm just about still here." I regarded it as a great privilege when Jack asked me if I would seek the nomination to stand in a by-election in the Perth City Centre ward, because he was wanting to stand down because he was not well. But it was a signal of his, to me, commitment that he said that if I didn't want to seek the nomination, he would continue to serve for the rest of the term. But I was delighted to seek the nomination and go forward. Ever since I came into the council, I've always felt that Jack has been watching over me, and with a critical eye, of course, on many occasions. I've already heard from many people who knew Jack. Jack to me was a gentleman through and through, someone who had time for everyone, and someone who had more than a fine sense of humour. He will be sorely missed, and I'm sure we all join together in sending our deepest condolences to Penny, his wife, and to the rest of his family. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Parrott. Councillor Lyle.
Thank you very much, Provost. I'd just really like to add to Councillor Parrott's comments in that Jack Coburn was one of the most welcoming councillors when I first became elected. His sense of humour, his ability to wear the most outrageous ties, etc., are legend. And on a personal note, I did get a lot of assistance from Jack. I really enjoyed his humour, where he was able to take the tension out of any room. But mostly of all, I would remember his dubious invites to any golf tournament in Scotland that he could get to, and I was grateful for many invitations that he also passed over to me to go and accompany him around various golf courses. So different days, different times, but most enjoyable, and an excellent raconteur and good company. He'll be sadly missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryle. Councillor Peter Barrett.
Thank you very much, Provost, and I would very much like to echo the words of Councillor Andrew Parrott. I was first elected in 2003 at the same time as Jack was elected for the South Inch ward in Perth and Kinross Council in the days when we had single member wards. And from 2007 I had the privilege of being a ward colleague along with Jack, Councillors Heather Stewart and Councillor Archie McClellan, and I can fairly say that Jack was the glue that held that fairly disparate group of ward members together. I want to extend my commiserations and offer my sympathies to Penny and the family. And I also have very fond memories of Jack, his good humour, his good conversation, sociability, and his ability to put politics to one side. But I also want to comment on how hardwired he was into the community and how effective he was as a local councillor, and we will miss him.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Willison.
Thanks, Provost. Jackie, as we often refer to him, was a personal friend as well as a council colleague. And indeed, he'll be sadly missed by Penny and his family and his many friends and many of his previous constituents in Perth City. Everybody's right, he had a huge sense of humour. And one of the compliments I think we'd want to pay to him, folk referred to him as Councillor Jack. They didn't bother about his surname in many ways. And that just told you how the guy integrated, as Peter Barrett has said, into his community, which he represented well. He was an expert at dumping the political anorak or rucksack at the door, especially if it was a social occasion, and was always good company. Margaret and I had dinner with him and Penny and other friends not too long ago, just before the pandemic really set in fully, and we had a thoroughly lovely evening. My final compliment to the guy is, if you didn't go on with Jack, there was something wrong with you. Thank you, Provost.